Okay, well, good morning, 7th grade. We are now on lesson 10.6. This is called bar and line graphs. Okay, so this lesson is not too bad at all. I am very confident that you guys will be able to do this. So, when we have a graph, so I know this is a little easier, so I'm just going to use pictures because pictures are fun. So, when we have a graph, nice little bar graph right here, on what kind of pet do you own? We're going to call this a bar graph. So what's going on right here, this little guy on the bottom and this little guy on the top, this line so that I'm highlighting just now, these are called axes, okay? When there's two of them, they're called axes. That looks just like the word axis, like you would chop a tree down with, but it's actually an axis is one of them, and an axis is just the line that is labeled, okay? As you can see, labeled. So you can see here on this side, this one up and down is called the y-axis, and it says the number of people, okay? So that is the y-axis, and then down here we have the type of animal that the people are owning, okay? The type of pet the people are owning. So this is where both a bar and a line graph have axis points and axes, these two guys there and there that's going up and to the side, and they have to be labeled. So as you can see here, I'm going to clear this and get a new chart that is free from all of the markings. So this is a same type thing. This is a line graph, but you can see, right, the number of people, right, the number is usually on this side, okay, going up, and over here is usually either time or the category or anything else, but this is usually the number over here on this side, and this is something like time or the category as in pet or type of fruit or something like that, okay? So that's how axes work. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You guys know how to interpret these, right? So if we look at this graph, okay, this is a line graph, so we won't worry about this. I'm going to get a bar graph up there first so you don't get confused with the order that's in your book. So when we look at a bar graph like this, just a traditional, straightforward bar graph, what this means, right, I come over here to the left and I say, that's at the number 4. So what that means is that 4 people own a rabbit as a pet. I come up here, that's at 8. So 8 people have a dog. 11 people have a cat. 6 people have a goldfish. And 5 people have a hamster. Okay, that's how we interpret that. It's very easy. You guys are definitely capable of doing that. I don't need to beat the bush on that point. I believe in your abilities, okay? So that's what we call before I erase this, this is a vertical bar graph, okay? That's a vertical bar graph because it's going up and down, right? It's based on the number of it up. Now, in addition to vertical bar graphs, we have what we call horizontal bar graphs, like this one. Okay, so this is the nicest fruit and the number of people that like the nicest fruit. Now you can see what's on this side here is the description. What's on the bottom is the number. So we say, how many people like grapes? About 5. How many people like blueberries like me? About 40. How many people like kiwis? 25. How many people like bananas? Only 10. Oranges? 30. And apples? 35. Okay? So it's the exact same idea. This thing right here corresponds with that. The orange corresponds with that. Banana with this. You see, very straightforward. Kiwi, blueberry, they even matched the color on this, which was nice. The number of people, you just imagine where that line goes to, okay? So that is figuring out a bar graph, and this is called a horizontal bar graph. That's pretty obvious because it is going this way and this way instead of up and down, okay? So it's going side to side, therefore it's a horizontal bar graph, okay? It's not hard to do. You guys are very capable. Now, in addition to that, we have something that we call a double bar graph. So let me get a picture of that up here. Here we go. So this is what's called a double bar graph. That's a little trippy because look at this. It's the number. Okay, so it's a vertical. Right? You see the vertical. But look here. Mrs. Smith has 2 columns. One of her columns is Thursday. Okay, that matches the blue, The red matches the red. So on Wednesday, you only had 14 minutes of homework from her, but on Thursday you had 16 minutes of homework from Mrs. Smith. Okay, and then you see over here, Miss Williams gives less homework, but she gives 14 on Wednesdays and only 10 on Thursdays. Okay, so you read it the exact same way, but this just means both those belong to Miss Jones, both those to Miss Brown, both those to Miss Williams, both those to Mrs. Smith, okay? You just match the color here. This blue matches each one of these blue ones, okay? And then this red one matches each one of these red ones. So just play the matching game, and you guys have got it, okay? Not hard to tell. Now, last type of chart that we're going to look at here is the line graph. So I'm going to bring the line graph back. Here's our favorite little line graph. So this one, like I said, deals more with time. Okay, so this is the people in a store and what time they're there. So you can see as the time of day increases, right, as it goes from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., this is going up. So if I asked you how many people were there at 11 a.m., you would say 5. If I asked you how many people were there at 1 p.m., 22. So where are the most people there? At 1 p.m. When are the least people there? Right here at 10 a.m. How many people are there at 3 p.m.? Again, 5. So which one has the same? Do you see that? There's the same amount of people at 11 a.m. and at 3 p.m. Okay, so this line just shows you how many people are coming in and out. So it's very easy to follow. You just look at the chart. You look over here on the left side for number of people, and you look at as the time goes, and you just write your answer as it comes. Okay, so not super challenging. You guys can definitely do that. Sometimes we have 2 on the same one. Like sometimes the line will have 2 different things, and you just look at them separately. So not very hard. You guys can do that. Okay, and so finally here, instead of just having 1 line, sometimes we can have 2 lines. So if we have what's called a double line graph, it will look something like this. And you have an example of this in your textbook as well, but you can see there's 2 lines. So you can see the rate in women, which is the red here, is going up, hits a peak in 1975, and then starts coming down. You see that for men here in the blue is up here at 600 per 1,000 people, and it is going down the whole way. Okay, so we can interpret that. If they ask you how many people are smoking in 1990, right here at 1990, you would say, oh, about 300 women, right? You see that? You match it with the 300, matches that line. And oh, about 400 men. Okay, you see that 400 right there. So that's just how we interpret those kind of graphs. So very important thing here for us to understand distinctions here. We got bar graphs. What's their purpose? They compare data, right, side by side. On the other hand, line graphs they show change over time, right? How I said that it's always over time. It shows the change, right? So a bar graph over here is going to look like this, and you have boom, boom, and you're comparing these things. Whereas a line graph is going to be, showing, oh, it goes up there. And so here we have a low spot, here we have a high spot. So those are the differences between the 2 graphs. So that's pretty much it. There's not really any math to do, hardly at all. So that's it. When you go to draw one of these on your own, the key part is to get the bottom right. Okay, so you'd say let's say we're doing one that's a line graph. Okay, and so this is like at 5 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., right? 4 p.m. I'm going to change this so it actually matches. So this will be 8 a.m. So it's every 2 hours, 8, 10, 12, 2, 4. And then I have, this is the number, let's say this is, over here is the number of people. And this is the number of people on the internet, okay, at this time, internet. And so I have, it starts here, goes up to there, then down, then up, and then kind of flattens off out here. That would be, I would have to make sure I marked this down here, and then mark what that stands for. And I'd say number of people, let's say that this is 100, and then this is 200, 300, 400, right? So as long as these are incremental, that's all I need to do. And it's the same exact thing with a bar graph. Okay, same principle. So the homework for this lesson is on page 457, and this is 10.6. We are doing numbers 1 through 20 all, and then 32 through 36 all. Okay, so not too many problems. If you have questions, please email me. Please make sure you contact me about that. But that is the homework that is due on Wednesday. Okay, that's all. Hope that made sense. Mr. H is over and out.